Today, I want to share with you a profoundly meaningful and useful book titled Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life by renowned psychologist Dr. Stephen C. Hayes. Its Vietnamese translation is Thot Khoi Tam Tri Va Buok Vào Quoc Song. Have you ever wondered why, when standing near a cliff edge or on the brink of a tall building, looking down, we tremble and feel a pull, as if an unseen force wants to drag us down? Yet, cats show no such fear. They don't tremble and can walk casually on narrow ledges, even in far more dangerous places. Or consider a dog that is painfully kicked by someone. It will yelp and run away. The next time it encounters that person, it will keep its distance. But when it's not being kicked, when it has food and shelter, it's happy. It never stays angry for an entire month over a past beating. Humans, however, are different. We can remain sad for days, even suffering for years, over past situations. Imagine someone having the opportunity to visit a beautiful, serene blue beach at a stunning sunset. But just last week, a loved one of theirs tragically passed away. How do you think he would feel? In reality, many people in this situation would find it almost impossible to be happy. The truth is, humans, no matter how ideal their external conditions, can still feel suffering, sadness, and anxiety. So, why is this? Why do we develop a psychology of fear and sorrow that persists throughout our long lives? The author of this book, Dr. Hayes, reveals a secret you need to know. Others suffer just as you do. We all suffer. All humans, if they don't die prematurely, have already or will eventually experience the heart-wrenching pain of losing a loved one or enduring physical torment. Everyone will feel sadness, disappointment, worry, fear, and a sense of being lost. We've all had moments of shame, humiliation, or regret. Each of us carries unspoken, painful secrets. We often wear a mask of happiness, pretending everything is fine, that life is smooth sailing. But in reality, it's not, and it cannot be. Born as humans, we feel a pain far greater than any other creature on this planet, a pain that cannot be quantified. So, what is it that makes us suffer more than all other animals on Earth? The answer is language. Humans possess language, which leads to thought and countless associations stemming from those very thoughts. Thoughts can help us solve many external problems, but when you use thought to cope with your inner world, many problems will arise. Today, this book will show you another incredibly useful way to step out of the quagmire of suffering. This is the renowned psychological therapy known as acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. The author of this book, Dr. Hayes, is the founder of this therapy, laying the groundwork for contextual behavioral science. He is a lifelong professor and research mentor in the Department of Psychology at the University of Nevada, the lifelong president of the International Contextual Behavioral Science Association, and a past president of the Association for Behavior Analysis International. With extensive research, he has published nearly 600 scientific articles and 44 books. He poured his heart into this book, sharing ACT in the simplest way possible to help you heal yourself by detaching from language and the control of your mind, thereby living a happy, free life and mastering your own destiny. Separating yourself from your mind and mastering your life. Why your mind drags you deeper into suffering. According to the author, humans typically face two kinds of pain. First, there's direct pain, such as the physical agony when you're ill. Second, there's pain that acts as an obstacle due to suffering, meaning the pain continues to haunt and cause prolonged distress long after an event has occurred. For example, after losing a loved one, many people cannot return to a state of happiness because they believe feeling joyful would be a betrayal of the deceased. They are gone, how can I be happy so soon? I can't do that. This is completely different from animals. Therefore, humans not only endure suffering, but also face obstacles created by that very pain. Generally, suffering is tied to the past and the future. Pain that has already occurred, which you continue to endure, or the anxiety and fear you feel about potential future pains. This is the mechanism of suffering. When suffering arises, people naturally try to extinguish it, to escape it. But how can one end suffering? Most people only know how to use their thoughts and language to adjust and control themselves in the face of suffering. Take a moment to reflect. When you're in sorrow, how do you cope? Some try to reassure themselves with phrases like, "I'm fine, everything will be okay." Others divert their thoughts to different matters or immerse themselves in work and future goals to fill the immediate void of pain. Some constantly seek entertainment, traveling, shopping, eating, partying. Others turn to alcohol or addictive substances to numb themselves. Some seek comfort from friends and family. Still others engage in physical activities to release tension, like boxing or thrill-seeking sports. These methods might seem healthy, but you need to understand that they are still within the control of your mind. Once you use your thoughts to confront insecurity and pain, they will remain there. You can only temporarily alleviate the pain. Many live their entire lives trying to control themselves, suppressing their thoughts by constantly trying to forget the past and think about the future. But you must know that language and thought operate on the same mechanism as suffering. They also look to the past and project into the future with three modes: thinking about what's coming, planning, and evaluating, comparing past outcomes. These three are the ceaseless activities of language in our heads. If you use your mind to confront your inner self, it's like playing tug-of-war with a monster created by your very own experiences and thoughts within your brain. It understands your deepest fears, your desires, your cravings. So how can you ever defeat it when it is always stronger than you? The more we suppress our thoughts, the more we stimulate our thinking and emotions. It's like standing on a cliff edge and telling yourself, "Don't step forward," yet a part of you wants to advance. This is, in fact, a behavioral tendency and a cognitive trap, where the more you try not to do something, the more inclined you are to do it. The more you focus on something, the tighter your connection to it becomes. Eventually, when you're caught in this cognitive trap, it becomes difficult to escape. Therefore, the only thing you need to do is let go of the rope, to stop participating in this tug-of-war. The prerequisite for ending suffering is to stop controlling yourself, to detach from language, to step out of the mental struggle, and to put down that tug-of-war rope. That is precisely why we need to escape our minds to truly master our lives. To detach from language and master your life, the author recommends three things. First, you must be willing to accept that avoiding pain is futile. Then, you need to say a powerful statement to yourself: "I deeply empathize with myself for having striven to face these pains and difficulties." Don't blame yourself, don't curse yourself, asking, "Why am I so foolish? Why do I keep making stupid mistakes?" Instead, offer the deepest compassion to your past self, who lived in pain and tried to control every bit of it. Once you've accomplished these two steps, you can move to the most challenging one, letting go of control. But please remember that the most difficult thing is also the simplest thing in this world. All things at a higher state share a common characteristic: they are both difficult and simple. As Buddha spoke of Buddhahood, or Lao Tzu spoke of the Taoist, these concepts are difficult yet simple. For example, a state of relaxation is always the best state for humans. However, achieving this state is not easy when everyone is stressed, straining themselves, suppressing emotions and bodies. Yet, in reality, relaxing is the easiest thing to do because you don't need to strive to find external conditions to do it. Right now, this very moment, you can relax. Therefore, ceasing self-control is a difficult but also simple task. You need to believe that you are fully capable of doing it. To support this entire process, the author introduces us to acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. The first principle in this therapy is acceptance and active acceptance. What does acceptance and active acceptance mean? Previously, when we heard the word positive, we often thought of it as the absence of negative energy, that we must be strong, healthy, and optimistic. But in fact, this kind of thinking can actually generate negative energy. Constantly trying to be positive by saying, "I'm fine, I'm very optimistic, I won't get angry, I'm not worried, I'm very relaxed." For someone who says this, even a small spark can make them explode. They will become angry, irritable, and completely lose control because they have suppressed everything within themselves. After exploding, they feel sad, distressed, and regretful, and then they continue to repeat this cycle. Therefore, we need to understand that feeling pain is what true positivity means. As the book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, suggests, when you accidentally cut your hand, you can say to yourself, "Ah, so this is what pain feels like." Directly feeling the pain allows you to change your perspective. Even when facing pain or insecurity, you will realize that you are not someone enveloped by dark clouds, not someone tossed by ocean waves, but you are the sky, you are the ocean. If you are the sky, Isn't it normal for dark clouds to appear? And if you are the ocean, wouldn't fierce waves naturally arrive? When you feel your own suffering, you will be able to accept your pains and mistakes as something completely normal. There's no need to avoid them, no need to be afraid. Simply feeling the pain will make it a solid foundation for your entire being. You will become the sky, become the ocean, instead of just being someone tossed around by painful emotions. You will realize that emotions are just a part of you. If you treat emotions as an external monster fighting against you, you will be incredibly small before it and might even be choked without realizing it. But if you see it as a part of you, a part appearing within the ocean and sky that you are, then all suffering here is just a normal experience. The author wrote a beautiful passage. Positive attitude is holding your pain as your hand holds a delicate flower. Embracing your pain as you embrace a crying child. Sitting beside your pain as you sit by a gravely ill person. Looking at your pain as you admire a wondrous painting. Continuing to walk with your pain as you carry a crying child forward. Respecting your pain as you respect a friend and listen to their confessions. Breathing deeply into your pain as you take a deep breath. Relinquishing the fight with pain like a soldier, dropping their weapon and returning home. Feeling your pain as you drink a glass of pure water. Holding your pain as you hold a photograph in your wallet. Conversely, a positive attitude is not fighting your pain, ignoring your pain, forgetting your pain, being overwhelmed by your pain, doing what your pain tells you, or not doing what your pain tells you, or believing in your pain or not believing in your pain. As soon as you follow your mind, you will start wanting to control and resist. Think about it. What happens if you hug a baby too tightly or grasp a delicate flower too firmly? You can't be too rough, nor can you be too loose. The best way is to know that pain exists, accept it, walk alongside it. And this is precisely what active acceptance means. Next, in acceptance and commitment therapy, another crucial step is to stop cognitive fusion. What is cognitive fusion? It's the merging of words with emotions. Humans attach specific meanings to words, so in our perception, we can treat things that haven't happened as if they already have. The simplest example, do you find your saliva disgusting? Certainly not, because you swallow your saliva all day long without any issue. But now, imagine spitting saliva into a cup and then drinking it. How disgusting would that feel? For dogs, however, this isn't a problem. If they see a cup of water, even if it contains saliva, they'll drink it without feeling anything, because saliva is colorless, odorless, and not inherently disgusting. When mixed with water, it's just water, capable of quenching thirst and non-toxic. But because we have fused our cognition, we find it disgusting and cannot drink it, even knowing logically that it's harmless. Why are thoughts so hard to change? Because throughout our lives, we've relied on thoughts and language to solve external problems. Thus, thought has become a trusted tool in our minds. But when we trust our thoughts too much, internal troubles arise. Before an event even occurs, we develop a psychology of fear. You just got sick, but you're already afraid of cancer. You just got cancer, but you're afraid you're about to die. You haven't even taken the exam, but you're already losing sleep over it. You have health and talent, but you're afraid of not having enough money for the future. Once such thoughts appear, negative feelings begin to spread, and gradually you become dominated by them. Therefore, to stop cognitive fusion, we need to learn how to achieve cognitive diffusion. Cognitive diffusion means separating your thoughts from the objects they refer to. The first important method to achieve cognitive diffusion is to observe your thoughts instead of viewing the world through the lens of the thoughts in your head. So, what does it mean to observe your thoughts? We've discussed this skill in many previous books. Here, the author suggests, suppose you are suffering or feeling sorrow. Tell yourself, I am having the thought that I am sad. I know I am thinking this, but the one who knows this is not sad. The statement, I feel sad, is just a thought arising from my mind, but now I can observe it. I can see that I am having this thought. That's all. This is observing thoughts to unfuse yourself from cognitive fusion. Additionally, the author lists several other highly effective methods you can try practicing. For example, the camera on the wall technique. Imagine you are looking at your painful life through a camera, seeing yourself entangled in internal struggles. When arguing with your partner, you might feel furious hearing their excessive accusations. Don't rush into a rage. Imagine you are the camera on the wall. From this angle, you will see that the girl is upset. She wants her partner to understand her. Deep down, she loves him, so there's no need to retaliate with aggressive words. If you were a film viewer, you'd see this as just a normal scene, nothing major. From the observer's perspective, you might even understand that arguing with violent words only hurts yourself and others. But when you get caught up in that film, identifying with the role, suffering will control you. Or there's a meditative method like letting the river carry it away. Imagine writing your negative thoughts on a leaf, for example. I am hurt. I am anxious. Then, you let the leaf float down a river, watching it drift farther and farther away. Gradually, your painful thoughts will also detach from you. Another method I find very interesting is to continuously repeat a word. For example, try continuously saying the word bread out loud. You'll find that the word bread no longer makes you associate it with the type of baked good made from flour, with a crispy crust and soft interior that you can eat. Now, it's just a strange sound being uttered. For bad feelings, you can use this method in the same way. Another method for cognitive diffusion is describing emotions. Describing emotions means talking about your pain without any personal judgments. Instead, try to imagine what your sorrow looks like, its shape, color, and how it feels. For example, a person was very resentful because he didn't achieve a professional title he desired. The professor asked him to describe and imagine the form of that resentment. He said it was a red square. The professor continued, "What is its temperature? Is it heavy?" He replied, "It's steaming and it's quite heavy." The professor told him to put that resentment down anywhere he wanted. A while later, the professor asked, "Has it changed?" The person replied, "The color seems to have faded. It's no longer steaming. It's lighter and I can hold it in my hand." This is the process of self-healing by describing emotions. When you are no longer fused with the pain but detach it, visualize it, and can see it, you will realize that sorrow is not a big deal at all. It might just be a dark lump of iron, no longer an ominous cloud overshadowing your head, suffocating you. You just need to describe your pain, fear, crisis, anger, pressure, and even despair with dimensions, colors, weight, and temperature. Just describing it is enough. There's no need to force it to shrink. After describing it, it will slowly become smaller and fade. Even if it doesn't shrink but grows larger, just let it grow larger. You just need to continue observing it. Remember, it is something external, separate from you. Furthermore, the author encourages us to practice mindfulness. We've talked a lot about mindfulness in many books, including Walking in Silence. I know many of you enjoy listening to videos while jogging, but when I jog, I don't listen to upbeat music or audiobooks because it affects maintaining mindfulness. When jogging, I only focus on feeling my breath merge with my steps. At this moment, you will easily achieve a flow state. You don't view jogging as something that needs to be covered up with music or another activity to save time, but rather transform it into a process of enjoyment. Once you can actively accept pain and detach yourself from cognitive fusion, the final step in this therapy is committed action. ACT therapy doesn't just stop at detaching yourself from thoughts. It urges you to take action to change your life. How do you change your life? First, you need to clarify what it means to live a life of value. The author says value is not a goal, nor is it an emotion. Value is not an outcome, nor is it smooth sailing. Value is not the future. Value is choosing a direction and making a choice. The important thing is to know how to make choices in your life and to understand one principle: ultimate value is always perfect. What does this mean? It means that your true value isn't about what you achieve, what great accomplishments you attain, what you acquire, or whom you influence. Your true value lies in what you choose. But how do you choose correctly? It's a choice where you can set aside fear, pain, and anxiety. You are not swayed by emotions. You don't use thinking to evaluate, predict, and compare. Instead, you can reconnect with your observing self, your pure self, unrelated to your physique, success, or failure, bank account balance, education, or career. With that pure observing self, you will continuously observe and ask yourself questions about many aspects of your being. What direction do I want to experience? For example, what kind of parent do I want to be? What do I want for my body? What contribution do I want to make to society? And so on. This is your ultimate, perfect value of value that helps you walk your path and achieve progress along the way. The author suggests you try writing your own imaginary eulogy. If you were gone, what would your eulogy say? If the words feel too long, write a different, simpler epitaph about the person who has passed. These exercises will help you discover where you truly want to go and what kind of life you truly want to live. Once everything is clear, you can move towards committed action. However, persistent action will undoubtedly face obstacles because many people commit to taking action, but after a while, they break their commitment and eventually give up. But please remember, breaking a commitment is not something to be ashamed of. Don't blame yourself, don't avoid your failed self, and continue to give up. When you fail, learn to forgive yourself. Only when you love yourself will you have the motivation to change. If a commitment is broken, allow yourself to return like a child learning to walk, and after each stumble, they try again. The author also suggests a supplementary method, breaking the mold. This means doing things you previously felt ashamed of. For example, wearing a strange hat to work but not caring what others think, just continuing with your work. This is called breaking the mold. Reflect on what makes you feel ashamed, then try doing it. When you have enough courage to step out and break free from the familiar patterns you've been stuck in for so long, you will gain more courage to commit to action, break commitments, and then commit again. This is how you embark on an exciting life journey, detaching yourself from your mind, facing and actively accepting pain, integrating into life, and thereby experiencing a meaningful life in peaceful, self-reliant happiness.